Hello, my name's John. These are some of the orcs from the Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon box set, and you're watching Wargames, Models, and Other Hobbies. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be all about building. I'm going to be putting together some push-fit models from the Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon box set, specifically the orcs, because I do love a good orc. And there's a few models I want to put together so I can have a look at them. So I'm going to jump straight in and we're going to start with the Painboy. So, let me have a look at what bits I need. Let's start up here. So I am going to push fit all of these. I'm not going to worry about glue. I'm going to put them together how they intended to be put together. And as I do this, with all my real-time videos, I'm gonna talk about random stuff, talk about the kit, how much I'm enjoying putting it together, all those kind of things. Now, I do, as with all the other races in Warhammer 40,000, have some orc models already, which I suffer from starting armies and never going anywhere with them. So I'm hoping with 11th edition I'm actually going to get somewhere with some of them. Maybe later on in the video I'll show you some of my orcs and you can let me know what you think about them. But for now, let's just look at building these and see what they look like. Right, let's pay attention and see which way around this goes. I'm already putting things in the wrong place. Hang on. Ah, okay, that goes on there. Ah, that's one of the arms. That's the hand with those claws on. And then that, presumably... Yep, there we go. Goes on there. Okay. Now, I'm fully aware that the Space Marines are going to get probably loads of love, as a lot of people like Space Marines. Excuse me. I have to say, out of the box set, I've had it for a few days now and been looking through it. The orcs, I do think, have come off far better with their options of models and things like that. The other thing that I've also seen is that the first codex for the 11th edition is going to be orcs, which will be nice. It's something that kind of breaks a little bit from that Space Marine tradition of them being the first codex on, in most cases. But it's nice to see the orcs getting a bit of the love. There's the head, right. 18. There we go. The Ooge Syringe. Now, I've loved orcs for an awful long time, and seeing the new orc models that are coming out, it's actually got me wondering, is it possible with the new orc models to play Gork and Walker again? I'm going to say yes, it is. Oops. That's going to need a little bit of glue in there, but I'll do that later on, I think. Okay, there is the Painboy. Let's just get a little grot orderly, then I'll find some bases for these. But yeah, I always loved Gork and Walker, and I'd love to play it again. If you'd like to see that on the channel, as I say all the time, drop it in the comments. So I need a 32mm. Sorry for the noise. And a 28mm. No, 25mm. That's a 25mm. So let's get this grot orderly in place. So I use the back of the knife just to push in the stalk. That's a nice little model. And yeah, gonna have to put some glue, get it in focus, on that pipe, but for now that's okay. There is the Ork Painboy. Okay, so next one I want to do is the Weirdboy, and stand from that at the beginning. So that is a 50mm stand. It's quite nice having the squares on my cutting mat because I can quickly identify the sizes of the bases. So I need 3, 4 and 5. These are really nice models to put together actually. Really nicely planned out. I think when I've done this one, I'm going to show you some more of my Orks that I have in, well, they're not grey plastic. They have got either some paint on them, and one of the models has got all of the paint on it. So we'll have a look at those through this video. But the first one I want to show you once I've made this, yeah, is a work in progress. And if I tried to knock those off with the back end of these snips, I don't think I'd ever be able to do that again. Okay, I think I'm just going to put these together, and then if I need to tidy up and trim anything, I can do that. So that's, oops. Well, I've got it backwards. I'm looking at the instructions over my shoulder. It's never a good thing, but... And I'm looking at them upside down. That's more like it. So... that comes up to there. There we go. And then the head goes on there. Now I need the legs. Now I'm not going to convert any of these Orks from the box set, but if I come up with any ideas for them, I may save up and pick them up later on when they're in the combat patrol sets, and or individually depending on how they get sold. But that's only if I come up with any ideas for some conversions. Okay. Right. Okay, that's a little bit of a tricky one without damaging any of the electricity or wires coming off him. The one thing that I think is a shame is the way that the get it in focus, sections of the feet, so in this case all the toes, are built into the scenic base, because sometimes it's nice to apply different bases. Right, I need to push that in with the back of the knife without screwing it up. There we go. Okay. So, Okay, there is the Weirdboy. Now, I want to show you my Weirdboy conversion, which I need to finish painting. But here it is. Let's just move that one out of the way. So, got a big Gubbins pole. It's got some orcified skulls, it's like servo skulls flying around. A cape made of different banners. So we've got there Ultramarine, Black Templar. It's puppeteering a little humanoid puppet there. Let's see if I can get this in focus. I really liked the way, there we go, the painting on the face turned out. And then I kind of need some inspiration for the colour for the rest of the helmet and all that kind of stuff. But I really like this new model. I really like my conversion. And I think they look really good together. So I've got to put this on a slightly bigger base. But I'm going to have 2 Weirdboys in my Orc army. Just for a little bit of chaotic madness. But yeah, it's a little last look. You'll see that I've got different skulls hanging from around the cape. Still got to do a little bit of painting on the inside. It was a Age of Sigmar model originally. Yeah, really happy with the way the conversion turned out. And then I think I get afraid of finishing off models, and I really need to finish this one. But anyway, let me know what you think of this one and any ideas for how I should finish it. Let's put that to one side and put this Weirdboy to one side. Now, the next model I want to make, I think I want to do a vehicle. So, I'm going to do the Wartrakk. Here we go. So, first thing, let's split that into 3 smaller sets. Just going to put the instructions slightly easier for me to see. Okay, so nice and easy. Let's start with part 1. Now, I loved the original metal Wartrakk for 2nd edition, and then I really liked the plastic one that came out with Gork and Walker, and then was used in Warhammer 40,000, and it was the body of a few other items, like I think it was the Scorcher, and I've got another model I'd like to show once I've done this to kind of show you some more of my Orks. Right, make sure that's the right way round. Okay, how does this, no, I need part 6, which is just here. In other news as well, I've seen on the summer reveal show that Necromunda is getting an update. Oh, wrong way around, there we go. Which I think is going to be nice. It's going to streamline it. I love Necromunda, always have. With the current edition, it has grown slightly on the amount of books you need and that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that it's going to stay faithful to the rules. But yep, it's time to start saving for another game, so I will make sure I get my hands on that. I do like the way that they're going to be releasing a lot of models in a box set, so you can do a gang of your choice. I am fearing the cost of those. looks like combat patrol size squads of gangs. But yeah, it's going to be a fair old amount of money, I think. This is quite nice actually. If you split up your sprue, all the first parts are on one section. We'll see if all of the other parts are on the other ones as we go through this build. What I might do, in between sprues, we'll have a look at another model. Right. I think the other nice thing about Orks, if you don't trim off all of the kind of nubs from the sprues, if it's on armour and stuff like that, you're not really gonna have an issue with what it looks like. There we go. This is going to need a few little spots of glue, I think, down the line. And that's that sprue empty. Right, which way round do these go? That goes there. Oh, wrong way round. That goes there. Yeah, so it looks like teeth for this kind of effigy on the front of it to a certain degree. There we go. Nice. Okay. And now I'm going to need to go to this part, get 19. Yeah, I like the idea of trying to play Gorka Morka again. If you're not familiar with it, it is a Ork Mad Max style game where you have gangs of orcs with different vehicles and pretty much similar missions to, say, Necromunda and things like that. But yeah, really good fun. From the 90s. I think it's one of those games that if Games Workshop did an update, which they could quite easily do with all the models that they've got out there, I think it would be very popular. Another game I've had to think about kind of playing a little bit again is the Armageddon game that came out quite a few years ago now. I think it was testing the water to see if people liked that small squad style game, because we then got Necromunda being re-released, Kill Team, and it was quite a nice little game. Used the old rules, well, similar to the old rules of Necromunda when it was first out. But yeah, it was a fun game. Okay, that moves quite a bit, so I'm hoping when some other parts go on that, it's going to kind of firm up a little bit. These tracks look cool. Now they could be a cool conversion, like a Mega Knob or something on tracks, or converting Gazgul. I was going to show a model, but I've kind of leapt ahead. Never mind. Let's try and get this secure, and then I'll show you one of my models. Okay, which way around? Okay. Okay, it gets held together by this top section. Now I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't want to take up loads of your time. You might be watching this while you're doing hobby or something. Ah, there we go, that holds it together. Cool. Right, let's show you another model. So we talked about the Scorcher that the old Wartrakk was based on. And a while ago, quite a few years ago, I modelled these snakebite cyborgs. That trailer on the back of this one, that was from the Scorcher conversion kit for the Wartrakk. So there we have whatever, a weird fungus fuel tank, little grot on there, exhaust pipes and gauges, and then we've got a bionic eye there, and then the Ork on top. That's one of them. Let's grab one of the other ones. This one is partly painted, really need to finish them. So this one has got 2 Dakka guns there. So I'd run these as either war bikes or from Legends Ork knobs on war bikes. Probably Ork knobs work better because they're slightly beefier and bigger. But here we've got what was the front end of a war bike turned around with exhaust pipe and kind of gubbins and stuff in there. But yeah, really liked converting these ones. And then finally, the boss of the group, got the back end of a war bike, but I've extended it widthways, put a bit more of a bigger track on it, added armour panels to it along there, some stick bombs, big old jaw here, and there is that Ork with the snakebite banner, and then also the Ghazghkull banner as well. As although they're snakebites, they owe allegiance to Ghazghkull, but also they go with my Weirdboy, who is also a snakebite. But yeah, I've got to finish painting these. If you'd like to see it on the channel, let me know. Quite happy to paint them on the channel. But anyway, let's carry on with this Wartrakk. So I am looking for 22 and 23. But yeah, I have lots of Orks, unpainted, made, but I'm kind of now waiting for the new codex to see exactly the direction that they're going to take. I think the good thing though with 11th edition is, as they said from the outset, all the 10th edition codices will work. So in that vein, what it means is you can, in theory, even when the new Ork Codex comes out, use the old Ork Codex. You won't have all the same special rules and things like that, and chances are you'll have some grumpy people saying no, you can't do that, but it's your own hobby, do what you want. Just because something's no longer in date or supported doesn't mean you kind of stop playing it. Right. I'm missing a head. I am missing... Right, now I'm really confused. So what number is that? 27 is the head. And I've trimmed off 27. Did I trim a head off? Or has it come off in the box? Ooh. Let me have a little look in the box. Let's have a look at the other sprues. No, can't see anything on the other sprues. Okay, that's annoying. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to have a look back on camera to see if I did cut this out already. What am I doing? That's rattled me when things go missing, when I don't see that they've gone missing. No, it wasn't that head, was it? Did I do the wrong head? No. Right, that is really strange. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have a look through the box and see where that head's gone. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name's John, and you've been watching Wargames, Models, I'm sure I didn't, and other hobbies. So I'm looking around the table and I can't see it anywhere. I'm going to have another look through the box, I think, just to make sure it hasn't gone missing. Some thrilling viewing for you guys. Me losing parts of these models. Or if you've been making these and you've been missing parts, let me know as well. But that's gonna piss me off a bit if I can't find that head. I think that will be, if I can't find it, that will be a customer services. Where's the head? And then they'll go, because I've had this before, they'll go, ah, did you buy it from us or did you buy it from a other retailer? And I'll say, which I did, I got it from another retailer. And they'll go, ah, you've got to take it up with the other retailer. And the other retailer, who is bloody good, will deal with it, but it kind of affects them a bit more, which is a bit annoying. But it does look like it's come off from somewhere. And with the way that my fingers and thumbs knock things around, I'm wondering if I've knocked it around and... Anyway. Right. While that's there, I'm going to have a quick look through this box. Found it. Wow, I bet you were all on the edge of your seats with that one. Okay, that's annoying. Okay. Good thing I didn't glue these push fits together. There we go. There we go. I may have to come back to these with a little bit of glue at some point. Right, that needs to go on there like that. Oh, I like that. Have it pointing that way. Have it pointing that way. Okay, yeah, we'll need to glue these later on. And then that. Oh, that goes on with one peg on there. Okay. And now I need a base, and I need the 150mm oval base. Not 150, 105, sorry, there we go. So, that goes on there, that goes on there, that goes on there. There we go. There is the Wartrakk. Well, I like that. Oh, I might leave that so I can move that depending on the direction I want it to be. Cool, right, I'm going to show you one more Ork model, and then we're going to have a recap of the things I've put together. So, this is one of my very few finished Ork models of Wartrakk. Let's bring this up close to the camera. Really, really enjoyed painting this a few years ago when he first came out. Really like the finish of this one. This was when I didn't have an idea of what kind of Ork army I wanted, but when he came out, I was like, yeah, no, gotta have it. Gotta have it, gotta put it together. But yeah, that's my Wartrakk. So anyway, quick recap of the things we put together in this video. There are the Ork Painboy and Little Grot Orderly. There is that Weirdboy to join my Weirdboy conversion. And here is that Wartrakk trike. Wartrakk. There we go. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to do another Ork building video in next week or two. But for now, all I can say is thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name's John, and you've been watching Wargames, Models, and Other Hobbies.